is INCRadio DCEM 954, the voice of truth, the official radio station of the Church of Christ or Iglesia ni Cristo.
Good morning, good evening, and good afternoon. Magandang umaga, magandang tanghali, at magandang gabi to all our viewers and listeners out there. You are currently tuned into INS Radio, Texas, and I am your host for today, Sister Mayfame Zaragoza, all the way from the locale of Sugarland, of course, District of Texas. And as always, I am never alone. Joining here with me today on the show as my co-host is Cleo Burns. How's everything?
How are you, Sister May? Thank you very much. And good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to everyone who is tuning in INC Radio Texas. Thank you so much. Um, it's kind of a bit sunny today. It's hot, of course. It's
Very,
the
very.
it's the summer vibe going on here in Texas. But back
That
to
is
you,
definitely
Sister May.
true. That is definitely true because if you cook egg outside, I think it's gonna be cooked if you just leave it out there, even without the fire. But also, of course, we have our guest with us, and of course, other hosts that's gonna be behind the scenes, as they say. But for sure, they're gonna be put in the spotlight as well later on. Of course, one of our guests, Ate Jane, can you go ahead? How's everything?
Howdy from Corpus Christi, Texas. We're here by the beach, so it's even hotter, but at least we can cool off by the ocean.
We love that. We love an ocean view. I wish I could just see ocean outside, but no, we love traffic here in Houston. And of course, we have Ati, Wendy. How's everything?
So far, so good. And I definitely love to join Sister Jane near the beach as well, because I'm also here in the local of Houston. It is indeed pretty hot outside. I was just thinking maybe bring out a pan, putting on some scrambled eggs, and see what happens.
Science taking over. And of course, behind the scenes, we have Brother Justin. How's everything? And our topic for today is multitasking, which is what he's doing right now.
Very true, Sister Mayfan. Hello, Sister Mayfan, and to all our viewers and listeners. This is Brother Justin Talioga directing from here in Austin, Texas. I'm missing the islands though, but I'm glad to be back here in the mainland.
We do miss the tropical weather. But of course, as I've said, our topic is about multitasking. So, do you multitask? Of course, I feel like everybody does, but not the 100%. Because I also know a lot of people who does not like multitasking. And how do you do it effectively? At what point would multitasking be considered a little too much or very too much? And how much time should you spend on a certain task? Those are the points that we are going to be talking about for our topic of today about multitasking. But of course, we have our question of the day. Do you multitask? Why or why not? So, to all our viewers and listeners out there, if you can type on the comment section. But if you're driving and listening to the show, please stay safe. But if you're watching right now, go ahead and comment down below. Our question for today is: do you multitask? Why or why not? And of course, I'm gonna pass the screen, the host duty, to Ate Wendy because I believe she has a game for us.
Yes, I do. So maybe a little bit background on what the game is before I get into explaining it. So our topic is multitasking, and uh, have you experienced where you're just trying to do something with your hands, like doing tasks here and there, but also trying to listen at someone talking, but at the same time thinking through, ooh, what are my next steps? What should I do next? If you have been in that spot, that's what we're going to try to simulate here today with the game. So, without further ado, how the game will work is uh, Brother Byrne, Sister May, and then Sister Jane. They will try to count from 1 to 20 together, kind of in a timely way. And then I will just randomly shout out some of the instructions, simple tasks for them to do, and we'll see how well they are able to multitask. All right. So, is
Let's see.
everyone ready to test your skills on multitasking?
I gotta
I'm
find my
gonna fail miserably.
I gotta find
Okay.
my wiggle room over here. Wiggle, wiggle.
No, I told them behind the scenes I am still having troubles with left and right, so the
Oh
mirror
no.
feature right now is gonna help me.
Oh no.
Right.
Okay,
Yeah, I
do we need
agree.
some warm up? Do we need some warm up here? Left and right.
Okay, yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
if
Let's
you-
do a quick warm up. Okay. Raise your left hand, please. Okay, perfect. I'll also need to remember it's a mirror on my end. Yeah. All right, and then now let's raise your right hand, please. Perfect. Perfect. All right. So when I say ready, set, go, once you hear the word go, then start counting from 1 to 20. All right. Oh, and I see Brother Justin will also
Joining us
Yeah, he's
today.
join in on the
participating.
fun.
Yes. All
Wait,
right.
hold on. Wait, Sister Wendy, are we going to verbally say count to 10, or are we gonna
Yes.
like okay, so not to ourselves, okay. All right.
Yeah, that way our viewers can also kind of participate in a way. Yeah, and if you're tuning in, if you want to participate off the camera, feel free to do so. Yeah.
Laugh at
All
yourself.
Right.
Laugh at
Oh,
yourself.
that's very important. In a safe environment, definitely not if you're driving.
So for counting, do we need to harmonize?
Yeah, do you want to try?
Wow.
No. Just kidding.
Wow.
Very
He has his
professional.
own voice range, so let's give it to him.
Okay, all right, Sister Wendy, whenever you're ready.
Okay. All right. Ready, set, go.
One,
One,
1,
Two,
2,
Raise your
Three.
right hand.
4,
four,
5,
5,
5,
Raise your
6,
6,
left hand.
7,
7,
8,
8,
9,
Go ahead
9,
with your right
10.
hand.
10,
10,
11,
11,
11, 12,
12,
Wave with your
13,
left hand.
14,
14,
15,
15,
16,
Yeah, I
16,
think I'm good at this.
Down your right hand.
18,
What?
19,
Oh.
20.
And scene.
I didn't hear the last one. What was the last one?
Oh, put down your right hand.
Oh, there you go. I was
Oh.
like, right hand. What am I gonna do with my right hand? What?
Right. Yeah, and I definitely love to hear how everybody felt when they were doing the exercise just then.
It was good.
I felt like my counting skills were slowing down because I had to concentrate on what I was physically doing.
Same.
That's
just like that.
true. We had to
Same.
compromise something out of the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things that we were doing.
We
Not me
didn't even
counting.
finish. Who finished up to 20? I didn't even finish until 20. Up to 20. I
I
only.
did.
I think I'm
I
only
think.
15. I went to
Yeah, I
15.
think I heard. Oh, okay. Yeah, I think I heard Sister May, Sister.
I think I
Jane.
did.
Yeah.
I think I did. Yeah. I don't know if Justin did. He was so quiet.
It's because I was muted because I wanted y'all to be heard.
Okay.
Right.
Okay. Well, of course, that I hope everybody did try the game with us, and I hope everybody had fun with that because for sure we did. But also, we have a question right here that how can you multitask effectively? Let's go to Ati Jane. Ati Jane, how do you multitask like effectively? Because I know there's ways how to do it correctly.
Yes, actually, I hate multitasking. I'm an easily distracted person. I easily get overwhelmed and stressed. So I try to not multitask when I'm doing something critically important that will require all my focus. But of course, there's times you cannot avoid it when like you're doing an urgent email, but at the same time somebody calls you saying something is urgent, then someone walks into your office saying this is urgent also. So how do you how do you prioritize? So one thing that I've tried doing that's helped for me is if there's several urgent things coming at me at the same time, like I receive whatever this one urgent task is. I write it down. Then the next urgent task, write it down. The next urgent task, write it down. When I take those things out of my brain and put it on a paper, and I'm able to look at it. I can evaluate which urgent task is the most priority and which can be delegated or wait. But one thing I've done, Sister May, also I've noticed that if I can't always multitask. It's really, for me, it's not the best ideal thing. But if something is automated already, I can do it. For example, if I have to study and I need like at least an hour and a half of studying, I know I can do the laundry at the same time because I can load all the clothes in the washer, and that's going to give me 45 minutes of studying and then a quick break to like put the clothes in the dryer and another 45 minutes of studying. So something is automated working by itself while I'm studying. Or like sometimes I'm not a fan. I'm like, I know exercising is important, but it's not always the most pleasant for me. But what I've noticed is if I put it on an audio book while I'm exercising, it actually makes the time pass by faster. And I find I want to stay longer because I'm so engrossed with the story that I'm listening to. So those are just a couple of ways I like to multitask if something is already automated.
Then that's one way to be effective when it comes to multitasking. You
Definitely.
pair something with something that you like, at least you get two birds with one stone.
Yes,
Did I say that correctly?
absolutely.
Yeah, there you go. But I also know that Ati Wendy is gonna be probably really good at this because so far she showed us her organizing skills and her
Oh, wow.
talents in the kitchen. So let me ask Ati Wendy, what's like one way to make multitasking effective?
Wow, Sister May, I think you've set the bar pretty high there. Yeah. And really, it's depending on what kind of tasks. So, for example, like what Sister Jane said, if it requires a significant amount of attention, like if both tasks are that way, then it's going to be a little hard. But I'll use cooking as an example. One way to make it effective is think through logically first everything that you're about to do. So for example, when I'm about to cook, I would think through, okay, what would take the most time? Let's say if I'm cooking rice, and I would wash that first, put it in the rice pot, and then have that steam in the background. And then I would think through which dishes would take more time and what's the prep time that takes longer. So for example, if I'm making my green onion pancake this morning, um, the time that takes most is getting the pancake itself cooked. So I would think through the timeline, like I need to cook the pancake, chop the things, put it on the pancake, batter the eggs. So those are the tasks. And then the longest time that it's gonna take is the pancake itself. So I put that on the pan first, go back to chopping while paying attention that it doesn't, get burned. And then and all the while still able to chop things up and then put it in the pan and then wash the dishes that I just used while the pancake is forming itself. After I finish washing, then the pancake is done. But it takes a little bit of practice, but thinking through the list of tasks and the amount of time they would take, it kind of helps.
Okay, so mastering a task to make it effective when it comes to multitasking. And I believe Brother Justin has a infographic to show us about benefits of multitasking. Let me read it to our listeners because I know y'all can see it. So I'm sorry if I'm not going to say the name right, but Shalena Sharna, a UX researcher at Meta, explains that we find that multitasking is often a matter of perception that helps rather than harms engagement and performance. Thus, when we engage in a given activity, con- construing it as multitasking could help us. Hmm. What to want to avoid multitasking? Oh, she gave us an option. A good tip given was that efficient workers dedicate chunks of time to a certain task. For example, they might spend 20 minutes reading the day's news and then move on to their next assignment for 20 minutes and so on. So I believe that if you do multitasking, oh, it needs to be helpful. So what happens if it's not helpful? I believe there's a question for that. At what point would multitasking be too much for you? I believe that correlates with the first statement that Kuya Justin just showed us. So let's see, let's ask Addie Jane, because she wasn't a fan of multitasking. So I'm sure she has some stories behind that.
Oh, oh my goodness. Wow, multitasking. The one example of where it did not work out for me is I was trying to do some important tasks at work because during the pandemic many of us were doing work from home, and so a friend dropped by and she wanted to just chit chat, but she wanted to tell the story of how she got her new job, and so she went into my home office and sat down next to me while I was doing very critical tasks, and then she was telling me her important story, and I was trying to work and listen at the same time, and it was just, to me, I think it was a fail because I was not able to focus on listening to her story, even though I wanted to be there for her as a friend. It would have been better if I had my undivided attention, just listening to her rather than trying to work. But I was also working on a deadline and I needed this task to be important. And so I actually made some mistakes. I think when you're trying to do two tasks that require focus and attention at the same time, you're not going to be able to give your 50% to, or no, sorry, not 50, your 100% to both
100%.
tasks. So, so that's why I think it's really important to not combine two tasks that require a lot of high focus. So that's for my experience for me.
I'm starting to see a pattern. I believe if you're doing two things that come from the same energy, I feel like it's not gonna be helpful for multitasking. I feel like it's gonna be more harmful. So like what Ate Jane just said, like she's listening while she's doing tasks. So that's like your brain power working at the same thing. So I feel like that's how multitasking becomes harmful. But like when you put an example, like if you're cooking and then you're chopping one vegetable while the other one's cooking, so now that's helpful because one's passive and one's active. I feel like that's what I'm trying to see when it comes to multitasking. But of course, we also have a question that talks about time when it comes to doing certain tasks. So, how much time should you spend on a certain task? I'm gonna go ask Ate Wendy, and then Kuya Bird, I'm gonna ask you too. So you're just chilling down there. So Ate Wendy, yeah, how much time would you actually spend doing certain tasks?
That's actually a pretty big question. I would say it depends on the task itself. And I think on the infographic that Brother Justin shared with us a while ago, like, a good chunk of time is probably 20 minutes where our attention span is still pretty focused. But again, it goes back to how long each task would take. For example, if it's really true focus on just reading or writing something, then maybe 20 minutes and then, get up to rest would be good and switching to another task. That's a little bit different. But if it's like exercising, working out, then you could do it for longer. And I like how Sister Jane mentioned you were listening to audiobooks while exercising. I do something similar. But instead of audiobooks, I watch TV drama, which requires even less thinking. But yeah, so it, but since each different depending on what I'm watching, that will also kind of help me stay longer in the gym and do more exercise. Or if I'm on a hurry, I just watch a shorter film and things like that. So it really depends on each task and what kind of attention span it requires.
That's true. I think the best way to balance a multitask is actually planning ahead. Does it help if you guys plan ahead when you like multitask?
I think so, yeah. And so also at work, because ideally you could focus on a task, but that's the ideal world because of course throughout the day people are going to say, "Hey, Wendy, can I ask you a quick question?" Or an email pops in that says urgent, must read, things like that. Will right? It will keep popping in. Especially when you're trying to type something up for a deadline. But what I think helps is one, kind of visualize what you need to do in a day, but also when I need to switch to that very urgent email to read it, I mentally tell myself, start from this paragraph and then I switch over, because then it kind of puts a mental tag for myself. At least it works for me. So, for folks that are watching, find a way that could work for you. But yeah, just having a mental tag where I stopped and then I switch over. And when I come back, I kind of remember that mental tag for myself.
I like that. Me, when I multitask, I just go, just do. I don't even put thought in it, just do. When I pass by it, I'm like, oh, I was doing this. Okay. But of course, I'm gonna go, like I said, clear burn. How much time would you spend on a certain task? I know you're very busy, especially with multimedia now. You have a lot of tasks now.
And
So how
here,
would you
and
balance it
here
out?
I thought I have the privilege of just chilling. I was
DJ
multitasking.
Burn.
I was multitasking. Listening to the different the ideas from our panelists. But for me, I think I this is an experiment for me. You can try it too as well. For those who are listening and tuning into INCRadio Texas, when you are doing something, try to open your TV, and for the span of 5 to 15 minutes, if you still can follow the what's happening on the TV, what you're watching, especially your favorite movie, then that time, that 5 to 15 minutes, or maybe more, that will be probably your focus time. And after that, if you forgot or don't follow up, like sometimes for me, it's like, oh, what's happening now in the movie? But I'm still continuing and doing this stuff. So that's probably one way of showing how, or knowing how your span from um
Your attention
the
span from
attention
one
span
task
from
to
one task
another.
to another. Yes,
See, I'm
precisely.
paying attention. I'm
Yes.
paying attention.
Yeah, a good job. Good job.
Of course, I'm gonna ask Brother Justin because he messaged me earlier asking for help because he was asking me to host because he was like, I'm very busy right now, and I'm like, why? And
Y-
then
y-
he explained, and then I asked him, okay, I'll host and shave for boba, and then I asked him, what's the topic?
do you
And
know
he
that
said,
he's
what I'm doing right now.
consecutively? Do you know that he's consecutively doing a multitask right now? Because he's checking his
Yes.
computer and
And that's what,
checking his router if it's get
if it's
disconnected.
alive.
Hey, it's fine now. It's fine now. I'm 3 feet away from it right now.
Did you
But
measure
you
it
know,
this time?
I it's maybe like 3.5 right now. I'm measuring with my hand, but my hand's only like half a foot. But I'm really enjoying listening to see how everyone deals with all their tasks, how they're switching between one and another. But I want to hear from our viewers and listeners who are tuning in with us right now. Like we have a little bit talent who's tuning in with us from Corpus Christi, and we also have Jeffrey Domingo, one of our ministers in our district, tuning in from the Tombo Group Worship Service. And we also have our ministerial worker here in Austin, Brother Kevin Marin, who says multitasking is great, but being able to focus on one thing at a time, if the time permits, for me produces the best results. I'm actually a bit of the same way. I actually started trying that a couple of days ago, and I was able to complete my tasks at a much better pace. And we also have our very own multimedia advisor, Brother Matt Carl Talents, who's sending his greetings all the way from Corpus Christi in the coastal city. And we also have Catherine Wakoma tuning in from Corpus Christi as well. Seeing quite a bit of Corpus Christi people here in this chat. So if you're from Corpus Christi, please continue making some noise in the live YouTube chat. And we also have Angela Navasco who's tuning in from the district of Silicon Valley, California. And we also have Ramel Aquino, the resident minister in Killeen, Texas. And we also have Brother Jordan Augustine tuning in from Hawaii Pacific. And we also have, I hope I can read this Precious Calgarari, who's tuning in all the way from District of Italy South, from Rome, Italy. So thank you so much to our viewers over there in Rome, Italy, for tuning in with us, and of course to all of our viewers and listeners who are out there wherever you are for tuning in with us here on INC Radio Texas Satellite Studio. So Sister Mayfan, what else do we have for our program today?
I believe we have our CFO and action. No, CFO in action, Brother Byrne. I believe we do have it, right? CFO in
Quick
action.
tech whenever you're ready.
Create that.
This is CFO in action. Let's take a look at some of the activities here in the District of Texas. On Saturday, June 22nd, we have our Pasugo Quiz Family Edition district level. And on Saturday, June 29th, we have our blood drive sponsored by the SCAN, or Society of Communicators and Networkers International in Humboldt, Texas. That's all we have for today. For CFO in Action, this is Justin Talioga. And don't forget to subscribe to our INC Radio YouTube channel.
That's a very nice CFO in action. Good job, brother Justin. Thank you for doing the voice. But anyway, what did we learn today in this topic? Anyone? Anyone from the guests or from the host?
Multitasking is both harmful and helpful.
That's true. Can you elaborate? No, just
You
well,
have your own experiment when it comes to multitasking.
yeah, that's true.
That's one more thing that I learned.
But what in the visual aid it says just 20 minutes, right? So after that, if you're just forgetting about all the stuff that you needed to do, then maybe multitasking is not for you. And one of our ministers said that it's better to focus on one so you can finish it uh, quickly, and your focus is on that task, and you can have the full output of that task completed. And then for me, because I'm a cook, so I can multitask anytime. So I can chop, I can do the stuff. So I can do a lot of stuff. Multitasking is my
Forte?
oh yeah, forte.
Your forte?
Yes, there you go.
Oh.
You're still listening. That's good.
My attention is still here.
Yep. Yep. All right. So, thank you for everyone who tuned in IC Radio Texas. Again, we thank you very much for those who are also in the live chat, and for our panelists and for our guests for today. Any greeting and shout out for our host? I mean, from our panelist, Sister Jane.
Oh, I'd like to say greetings to my local congregation of Corpus Christi, Texas, to my family members who are in San Antonio, also who are listening, and also our resident minister here in Corpus Christi, Brother Matt Carl Talon. So greetings here.
Thank
Thank
you
you for having me.
And I think Brother Archie Towns is here too in Umbo, so he's here facilitating the Pasugo drive. Actually, I mean the Pasugo quiz B. So,
Multitasking.
I know. How about you, Sister Wendy?
Sure. Yeah, of course, shout out to everyone who was willing to spend their time on a Saturday with us and tuning in. And of course, a special shout out to local of Houston.
Awesome. Thank you, Houston, again for this wonderful day. So hot. Anyway, Sister May, how about you?
Now I had to think about it for a hot minute. But I know I'm sending my greetings to all the District of Diwa of the District of Texas, my family and friends back in my home country, Negros Occidental. How's everybody? Thank you for watching. I know somebody there is watching. He just sent me a screenshot of it. And who else? Oh, my family, my friends here in Sugarland. I hope you guys are watching too. I sent you the link, so I'll see you later when we hang out. So
All right, you gotta ask them now. You gotta find their names in the YouTube chat. So
I don't have access to YouTube chat.
okay.
Remember?
Yeah. But we would like to thank our multimedia advisor, Brother Archie Talents, our assistant district minister, Brother Tio D. Sampson, our district supervising minister, Brother Noel Caritativo, and our executive producer, Brother Emmanuel Andaya, our CFO coordinator and CEBSI COO, Brother Angelo Aranyo V. Manalo, and special thank you to our executive minister, Brother Eduardo V. Manalo. Tune in INC Radio Texas next Saturday at 1:30 Standard Central Time. Introducing the next show is INC Radio Virginia.